We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and now our World Broadcasting Tag Team Champions of the World and our Cruiserweight Champion.
I'm Ethan.
I'm James.
I'm Rob.
And this is episode 145 of Beyond the Ropes. We are BTR Pro Wrestling Talk. I don't know at this point. It's been a day. Today's going to be an interesting episode, as always. But first, before we get into that, of course, follow us on social media. Twitter.com. Search up Beyond the Ropes or at Real BTR Radio, and you'll find our Twitter handle. It was used a couple times today.
Yep.
As we are recording this here Wednesday, June 2nd.
Not that anything special happened today, Ethan. There's no big news or anything going on, but continue.
Of course not. Of course, you can follow me at EthanME95. You can follow James at
JHW Reporter.
You can follow Rob at
Rob Flores Media. And don't forget the R-Truth DMs for Ethan.
And another week, R-Truth was not on Monday Night Raw. So, surprised he wasn't mentioned today. But anyways.
That's never going to happen.
Well, never say never. Facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. And of course, YouTube, just search up Beyond the Ropes. And you'll find over 100 episodes currently uploaded. All right, let's get into the meat of it. So I just want to start directly with what the news is, and then we could talk about why after.
Yeah.
We'll give our reactions of the names that happened. There were a number of releases once again. WWE announced.
It's like the third week in a row.
Yeah, last week I believe we mentioned members of the digital team were released.
Something like that, yeah.
So today, again, as we're recording this is Wednesday, June 2nd. So this morning we woke up to some very interesting news. And it was via WWE's Twitter page that I kind of saw it. I think I saw it somewhere else first, actually, because I saw someone's response to the news. But this was via WWE's Twitter account and their website. WWE has come to terms on the releases of Braun Strowman, Aleister Black, Lana, Murphy, Ruby Riott, and Santana Garrett. WWE wishes them the best in all of their future endeavors. So this is an interesting announcement of releases. I said that I initially heard the news when I saw the response from one, I guess now, Alice or Tommy End, as he was known in the independents now. Once again, Tommy End. Formerly known as Aleister Black. This was his reply 8 hours ago as we're recording this. I'm gathering my thoughts as this was a complete left field for me, as obviously we just started the Dark Father character, but this was it. Thank you so much, WWE Universe, for allowing me to create and give you small bits of myself. So there's kind of his initial thoughts there. I have another Superstars reply here. This was Murphy. This was 3 hours ago as we're recording this. So today ends my 8 years with WWE. What a crazy ride, highest of highs, lowest of lows. But whether I had 3 minutes or 20 minutes, I put all my effort into my performances. Nothing is harder when all you want to do is wrestle, but you can't. In my opinion, I haven't even hit my peak. Yet I am excited to see what the next adventure holds. I was lucky enough to work with some of the best talent in the world and learned a tremendous amount. But trust me, the whole world will know what I meant by best kept secret. Thank you all. I haven't seen anything from Ruby Riott yet, but there were a number of wrestlers that continuously have mentioned her name, I think more than anyone, at least on my feed. This was from Bailey in reply to the news of Ruby Riott. Dory got all the dog moms roses on Mother's Day. She sent me flowers when my grandmother passed away, organized locker room birthday parties, sent a gift to Chelsea from all of us when she got hurt, made just a video to tell her we missed her, and is one of the greatest wrestlers out there. And this was, again, from multiple wrestlers kind of giving their thoughts on her as well. I know Naomi gave some thoughts on Lana. I'm not sure if Lana herself tweeted. I think she might have.
Saving it for that Miro stream, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Here we go. So here, she did post about it. I will never forget the fans and the love they showed me, whether it was the Tank, Power Suits, Flags, Crush, Rusev, 900 Partners, weddings, or tables. I tried to always entertain you, and you definitely elevated me. Thank you. Braun Strowman also just put a very short, I guess, reply to the news here. So I'm getting it up. This was via Instagram where I saw it. What a chapter in life. # thank you. And he posted a photo of a number of wrestlers on an airplane here. They're all shirtless, and I believe Bray Wyatt is the only one in the photo that is still with the company. Everyone else has moved on. Mm. So, some unfortunate news and some big names without a doubt. So I do know, in terms of the releases, well, before we talk about potentially why they were released, initial reactions to when you heard the news.
So just looking at, let me get the list here again. Looking at the list, Santana Garrett, she was in NXT. I think, spoken highly of, but I'm not too familiar with her, so nothing really for me there. Buddy Murphy, not really surprised. I thought he kind of would have went in this last round for whatever reason. Maybe, well, part of it is because I thought, his partner from NXT got released in the last group, right?
Wesley Blake, yeah.
Wesley Blake, correct. So I kind of thought I originally thought he was out in this last group. After the whole Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins thing, your guy Seth Rollins was, couldn't even do enough to save Murphy in this situation, but it is what it is. Can't save them all, I guess. Again, not really shocked about Lana. We kind of knew this was coming. You almost kind of thought this was almost 2 years past due, I guess. At least a year. I don't know how long it's really been. But Aleister Black, another guy. You thought this should have been almost a year or so now. Didn't even ask for his release. They denied him. Then they start doing this little push. You think maybe they're gonna do something with them, but you kind of seen this song and dance before where they'll kind of push you, and then I don't know, why would you even bother pushing them? What would you do? Like, you just try to throw another gimmick on them? I don't know if it's like a burial or whatever, but I don't like it. It's not a burial, but you put promos into this guy or in vignettes and stuff over the last month or two. I don't know why. I don't get it. I don't get it. We'll talk maybe more why. You probably have more of the answers as to why here in a minute. I don't want to assume anything. Braun Strowman, obviously, maybe the biggest name on this list. See what I did there, because he's big. That was a shocker, kind of, to be honest with you. Even though I feel like he has been kind of stale, maybe a little flat for me. I feel like they had a chance. What was it? Maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago now, where he was kind of, I don't want to say he was the biggest baby face in the company, but he was kind of getting there. And I don't know, things just kind of fell flat for him. I thought he was kind of a odd man out in this last main event they had. What was that? WrestleMania Backlash, and that triple threat wasn't very, I thought that was kind of weird and random too. And I didn't think he fit in that, just based on what I think of him at the moment as just as far as where he was storyline wise and gimmick and all that. But you'll tell us more why. I guess I know why with Braun, but go ahead. You can go ahead and say what went down there.
Well, quickly, as you mentioned, Seth Rollins. He was, I believe.
Oh, they let Seth Rollins.
No, don't say it. Don't
Would you cry? There. Would you cry right now?
I would quit the show right now. I would quit. I'd be done. He was on the Mark Andrews. I guess he has a podcast. and he's of course an NXT UK wrestler. But Seth Rollins was featured, and one of the quotes was "Wrestling makes me feel," and then Seth Rollins quote tweeted it saying, "And today it makes me feel with some broken hearts." So obviously he's saddened by the news as well. I'm sure he was probably close to a lot of these. Obviously, he worked with pretty much everyone, but especially Murphy in the last year, of course, involved with the Monday Night Messiah gimmick, and they were tag team champions, and then of course some rivals toward the end of last year. But anyways, getting to the releases here. Let's see. So I mean, in terms of Aleister Black, he's the one kind of I've seen more prominent here in terms of social media use. He's been on Twitter all day. Just 5 minutes ago, someone asked if he can change his name and delete the WWE from the Twitter account handle, because he has WWE Aleister still. He says no, I have to wait for them to do it. So I guess they have access to it or something still.
They do.
But Braun Strowman, let's talk Braun Strowman really quick. Braun Strowman apparently had $1 million contract. He was the highest paid person here, and obviously he's expensive. He signed the contract, I believe, in 2019, and had a contract until 2023. Clearly,
can we? What was I gonna say? Like I don't know. I don't want to be rude. Or what did he do when did he sign? Is this $1 million contract from the jump? Like from the minute, like the Wyatt family, like the beginning?
No, 2019.
2019. Okay.
After he had already established himself. I mean, to be fair, there aren't too many 7-foot giants.
Right. But I'm just trying to think, what did he do before 2019 that was like, yep, $1 million guy? I mean, I don't know what I know whatever the minimum guy you probably don't like. Buddy Murphy probably made more money than anyone at AEW probably. I don't know that for sure, but maybe guys other than like Jericho and MJF, maybe even MJF. But the point I'm making is like to be a big contract. I mean, was 2019
a lot of main eventers are around that $1 million.
But was it because of the run that I mentioned that where he was kind of
probably he was hot?
I don't know.
He was hot in 2017, 2018. So
okay, was it 2017, 18? Okay, then I can get that, I guess. But
and they wanted, with AEW looming, this was around the time they were trying to keep everyone locked into contracts.
Yeah, because around this time, I mean, you probably had the other Wyatt family members kind of leave during maybe around that same time.
Harper was trying to get out. Rowan and Bray was still there, but I mean, still, AEW was coming in at 2019, middle of 2019. So obviously there was fear. They were trying to keep everyone locked in long-term 5-year deals. And so obviously a big name like Braun Strowman, again, you don't get too many guys his size. They're going to pay him as much money. They were offering a lot of money at that time. Clearly, in the last 2 years, that has changed quite a bit because they've made a number of releases in the last year and a half now. So that seems to be the reason as to why he was released. They're trying to do budget cuts. That seems to be a story that continuously has been going on, and we'll talk about why they're doing budget cuts. I will say it for the next segment.
I read some stuff, Ethan.
I've been watching.
I'm a little scared.
I'm a little scared. We'll save it for the next segment.
Save it. I don't know. I don't know.
There was apparently some speculation that a couple of these names had previously asked for their release. So
I mean,
we could just assume that's why they finally got the release. Obviously, the business strategy has changed where they don't want to keep people locked in, I guess, to contracts. Specifically probably by someone that came in last year and has kind of taken over the business side of things. Mm-hmm. He has a different mindset. Of course, I'm talking about Nick Khan,
right?
We'll talk more about in the next segment.
About that too.
But
I got a comment though. So you talk about guys who are some of these superstars here that were released. I go back to Aleister Black. It's just kind of interesting because there was like some scuttlebutt on the Twitter on the Bird app Twitter where they were talking about what's her name possibly coming back to WWE. That was the thing that was kind of going around. I'm blanking on what was her gimmick name? Aleister Black's wife,
Zelina Vega. That's
Zelina
right.
Vega. Did you see that? Like there was like some talk that she was supposed to be like.
I think we mentioned it. Yeah,
we might have even mentioned it, but
it was
like,
at the Performance Center a couple of weeks ago, and with Sloan Johnson,
the
Rock's daughter.
I was gonna say maybe she went to pick up her bag.
No, they sent it with the trash bag.
Maybe they just missed it. Maybe they just missed her because she was a sudden release and her stuff was there. I don't know.
Well, no, she's local. She's local, so they should just pick it up. They didn't need to mail her.
Well, they just said, just come on by and pick it up when you can. You know, yeah. Alistair's on his way out anyway, so hey, you can get it for you. No, all kidding aside. I mean, so but like that was just what I heard. So that made the Aleister Black thing maybe a little bit more surprising, I guess.
Yeah,
but
I agree. For me, the Aleister Black one was the most surprising. I mean, yes, Braun Strowman. He was the biggest name, arguably. I mean, because he
was just in the last main event for a pay-per-view, right?
He was literally the Universal Champion during the entire PC era, the Performance Center era. He won the title at WrestleMania, replacing Roman last year, beating Goldberg, held it until SummerSlam of last year, and that's when they had the Thunderdome. So he was literally the Universal Champion of SmackDown for that era of last year. So
yeah,
interesting. He was the greatest Royal Rumble winner. He was a Money in the Bank winner, former Intercontinental Champion.
He had that. Champion. He had the short run with Nicholas. Yeah,
of course. Nicholas is now could run the Indies. So
yeah. Hey, right
now. Summer. Nicholas is out of school.
It is the summer, right? And then what is it? Is the dad? I know we're getting close to our first break here.
Is still there.
Is the dad still there? Okay, so the dad is still there because I'm thinking you have him as the manager. You have Nicholas out there. You do a summer run, right? Just to get Braun back on his feet. You have Nicholas kind of carry him through the summer, right. And Nicholas goes back to school, and Braun should be good to go by then on his own.
I think we're gonna see the rematch of the century. We're gonna see Braun Strowman versus James Ellsworth. Ellsworth, I mean, he tweeted, it was the greatest match of his career, obviously, because it got him signed to a contract. So
I'd imagine so, right? I would imagine so.
No,
I mean,
on a serious
take my money right now. Sign me. Not really, no.
Here's quick to just end off on Strowman, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Aleister Black because he said some things that are interesting. But Braun Strowman, again, $1 million contract. Last year, I believe he said he wouldn't wrestle anywhere outside of WWE. I don't know if his mindset has changed. But he's a big name, so maybe he gets into acting. I don't know. But when we return, we're going to continue talking about this. We're going to talk about potentially the reasons why WWE is cutting, I guess you could say cutting the fat. All that and more right here on BTR. We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 145 of Beyond the Ropes. Of course, I'm your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James, and of course, producer, Rob Flores. We're doing this virtually via Zoom. As of today, fully vaccinated. I think you guys are as well. So, we'll be hitting the indie shows in the next couple of months, right, boys? We're going to Vegas for SummerSlam, right? We got to talk about that.
Well, we'll
talk about it.
That's something we'll talk about. It seems like you maybe heard something I didn't, but I was kind of aware.
Maybe it's something else.
Okay, all right.
Next segment. All right.
We'll talk about it, though. We definitely will be talking about it.
Santana Garrett, of course, who was released as well, just tweeted out earlier this morning, thank you, WWE, peace, love, and hashtag headband power. Hashtag time to shine, hashtag women's wrestling, hashtag Santana Garrett, WWE NXT. She was a very talented individual. Unfortunately, she never just picked up anywhere. She was featured in this year's Royal Rumble. I think that was the last time she might have been shown. I know she had brief appearances in NXT and maybe even showed up on SmackDown for a match at one point, but unfortunately just never picked up anywhere. But she is very talented, and hopefully we'll see her shine somewhere else. Aleister Black. Let's talk about Aleister Black. We've done with Strowman. As I mentioned, I think I'd be surprised if he ends up on. I guess he could end up in AEW. Honestly, they'll probably pay him a lot of money.
Him, yes. Going back to Braun, I guess we said we're done with Braun. I don't know. I guess you kind of ended the last segment with you. You know, you don't really know either, but yeah. But I mean, definitely you get Zelina Vega in there, and yeah. I mean, why not?
All right. So Aleister Black, who was on a Twitch stream earlier this afternoon.
Okay.
I think it was Zelina Vega's, account.
Yeah.
Dead.
Well, they kind of share it. I think they kind of share it. I think.
Yeah, they share it. So this comes from at Black XMAS at Black Xmas _ I guess on Twitter, which is basically kind of put everything, transcribed the stream, the important parts here. There is video as well as if you can watch the screen there it is. I'm not going to play the video, but I'll read the list of things he said or mentioned. The reason for his release, or that he got, was quote, budget cuts. There you go. He and Vince had a great relationship. He and Paul also had a great relationship.
Yeah, that's the word.
Pushed hard for him. He created the whole Dark Father character by himself. He has a lot of Easter eggs with Aleister's gear and promos. The colors represented who he was facing and his mood. Aleister Black was the devil with memory loss. It was his idea to have the eye change because he was wearing a contact toward the end of his run. He praises the creative team for having some good people working there. He calls the last 2 years a slow death to the character. One of his favorite things was when people made conspiracies on him and being in the Illuminati. His match with Dream was when NXT put trust in him to produce his matches. That was an iconic match. Tagging with Ricochet was one of his favorite times in his career, as he had so much fun. That was toward the end of their NXT run, and they did team together early on in the main roster when they both got called up.
That's right.
They had actually teamed at WrestleMania together. Let's see. He praises Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, Eric Rowan, Brody Lee, and Apollo Crews. Also praises, of course, not surprisingly here, he also praises our tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, for being a great locker room leader, and the Usos for being good people.
It's too early in the show for this.
No, come on. It's never too early to talk about our tribal chief. Are you going to say it this week, James?
No, he hasn't done anything for me lately.
We're just ending the show here, I guess.
See you guys next week.
All right, no.
Wait, no, don't leave.
There's more. The feud with Big E was supposed to start this Friday.
Okay, can we stop on Big E for a second? You mentioned everyone's kind of waking up to this news. I literally woke up to this news. I checked my phone. Hey, what does my buddy Rob? What does my buddy Ethan want this morning? And then you say there's big releases, and Rob says something about Big E not getting revenge or something, and I'm like, they released Big E? What? So first thing I do is I immediately go on Twitter looking for Big E, and Big E is okay. Big E was not released, but I was very scared. You guys had me very nervous.
Hold on. I don't want to put that out there, but this is going up later on.
No, we're not putting
rumored to be releases happening, sir. I don't want to. I don't want to put that out there.
I know. I'm just saying, this is what I have to deal with in the morning. As you two giving me scares.
You think you're scared? I'm terrified.
Well, yeah, we still have more stuff to talk about that I'm scared about. Yeah, we'll get to that. But I'm just letting you know that I had a rough morning because of that.
This is interesting. He continues.
Okay, Aleister Black,
He shuts down the reports on Vince not seeing anything in him. Those reports were not true. Look at that. Are you
Well, yeah, if they're best buds, I mean, yeah.
His NXT request wasn't shut down. It was actually praised. Vince wanted to try something with him on the main roster, and if it didn't work out, then he would have gone back to NXT. Interesting there.
Okay, wait. So did him and Miz do something?
No, no, this was Vince wanted to try something out.
Oh, I thought you said Miz.
No,
okay.
Vince wanted to try something on the main roster before he, sent him back to NXT.
Okay.
He says the dirt sheets are more harmful than do good. I can understand that, considering he's saying some of these reports are completely false.
I don't know why he would just tell him that. Why not just tell him?
I don't know. He explains how hard a wrestler's life is, especially on the road. Thinks about opening up his own wrestling school. That would be cool. He doesn't own the Aleister Black character. Stated he always wanted to be in an elimination chamber match. Says he does have a 90-day non-compete clause. Calls Andrade one talented MFer. I'll say that.
They love some Andrade in that household. They really do.
And wants to wrestle him again. So I know Rob mentioned in our little chat here earlier, they could have a match elsewhere. That's likely to happen now. He thanks the people who make his gear. He confirms that he was supposed to win the United States Championship, but Vince didn't want him to win his first title in front of nobody. That's interesting. He was only supposed to be gone for 6 to 8 months.
Now
weeks.
he's not going to win his first title in front of anybody.
Well, he was only supposed to be gone for 6 to 8 weeks, but was gone for 7 months. And I believe it is. He also stated this wasn't a part of the thread here, but the door is open for a return. I think he said he would be willing to go back. So, which I think out of everyone, he probably would have the most chance of getting back sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think he would definitely give. I don't know what his age is. I don't think he's older, but I think if anyone on the list, like anyone who can come back and be a world champion in the future, I think it is going to be Aleister Black. But, and I mean, I wouldn't be. And again, it was like we mentioned, it was kind of being thrown out there. I don't know how true it was, but Zelina Vega, there was talk there, whatever. She was at the PC. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, she like Zelina Vega, just going to her for a second, grew up a WWE fan. Like, I think they'll both be back at some point, at least one or the other. But
I think they'll both be back at some point for sure.
I think they will. But again, so I find it interesting, just again, like you said, he was gone for 7 months, but he supposedly has this great relationship with Vance. He has, Paul Heyman was gone from. Obviously, Paul Heyman is no longer in that role anymore. He's the creative, he praised the creative. They seem like they're really behind him, as far as giving him the freedom to add his own details to his character and whatnot. So what went wrong? Like, what happened?
Well,
to where it didn't work. How do you think you're only gonna be out 6 to 8 weeks and then you're gone for 7 months? What happens there? And yeah, maybe again, budget cuts, whatever, maybe that's Khan's doing or whatever, but this is a guy who I looked at early on in NXT and said, it's easy to start saying, well, if there's ever going to be another Undertaker-like character, it's The Fiend or Aleister Black. Aleister Black really could have had that vibe and that character. Obviously, he was going to have to change his character at some point, which is kind of what they were doing. I don't know. I think this. I mean, it's not the end of the world. And again, like we've seen with Drew McIntyre. We've seen with some others, obviously those took longer. And you see what happened with Jinder, wasn't even maybe as long as Drew was, but they can come back better and stronger and have the bar raised a lot higher for them off the jump based on what they can do in the indies or AEW something. Yeah, I think Aleister Black can come back and do some good things.
Without a doubt. Quickly, and then we'll talk about the potential real reason behind these budget cuts. Where do you think Braun Strowman will end up if he stays in the wrestling business?
You say he doesn't want to. You say he mentioned. I kind of remember. He said he doesn't want to wrestle anywhere else. Actually, wasn't he in trouble or in the wrestling internet community doghouse for his comments on indie wrestling or something?
Mm-hmm.
You know, thinking because of the contract that he had, you know, he thought he was set for life, maybe or whatever. But does anyone want to pick him up? I just, you know, I mean, there have been guys. Obviously, you're going to make a lot of money. You're going to make big contracts, and then you're going to kind of get bumped down a little bit with whatever kind of pay you go, wherever you go. I don't know. I don't know if Impact is it. I don't know. I don't. What are they going to do with him at AEW? I don't know.
If he stays in the business, AEW is going to pick him up.
Well, what other business would it be in?
Like I said, he could do acting.
I mean, he could do movies. Like he could easily do like movies and stuff.
He could do movies. That's what I'm saying. I think that's the alternative there. So,
and he's not I don't think he's not like a bad talker or anything. He's not like Andre the Giant or something. Like
no, he can talk. He can
talk.
He can
I've seen some videos where it was him, Alexa, and Ember Moon. They were like at a Denny's. They were promoting some burgers, and he was a very likable. Like he's an all around just normal dude. Like I think he would be great in movies or something.
Rob is asking here on the chat, why how come no one chooses Ring of Honor? No one's going to Ring of Honor anymore. Impact is now kind of higher on the totem pole now.
They still want to be seen. I don't even know what channel Ring of Honor is on. Nothing against it.
Absolutely. Where does Ruby Riott go?
You know what? I heard something, and I keep trying to look it up, and I don't see it, but I just saw someone tag her on Instagram or something. There's supposed to be this new show called Heels that's coming out on Showtime, I think. Yeah, and I saw something that said she was like an executive producer on that. I don't know how true that could have been if she was in WWE and be involved in something like that.
I don't know.
But based on the time,
probably just given money to the project, and they just attach her name to it. That's what they do.
Maybe, but I don't even know if she would have done that. Just because, like, you're in WWE, like you can't really do like support and outside. But
it's Dolph's
maybe now
Dolph's brother, Ziggler's brothers. That's the one I think that sold the series or behind. Yeah. So I mean,
maybe
a number of wrestlers could have probably donated to the project. I think there was a GoFundMe for it at one point. So
okay. Well, because the guy that the one that had Ruby Riott in this photo, and again, it was him almost, I think calling her the executive producer, was seen, like I saw his Instagram, he had a whole bunch of different people where he was like promoting the show, he had a shirt, but he was like at Impact events, he was at AEW events, but he wasn't really at WWE events. So I don't really know too much of what that show's about. I don't know if it's supposed to be something like the Ladies of Wrestling Netflix series, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So.
But I think she'll go somewhere. Everyone seems to like her and speak highly of her. I think no matter where she goes, she'll be a great addition. I think she just needs to stay healthy and hopefully things work in her favor going forward.
I think AEW picks her up as well.
They can't. We're going to talk about another AEW addition if we get time here later. But we might not. They're getting into WCW territory.
Another trader you're speaking of? Yes.
He's not a trader. We're not going to.
He got scared. Randy Orton scared him off like he did 4 other people. Did you see that meme?
How much time do we have left, Rob?
Let's talk about it.
You don't disrespect my main man.
All right, AEW had their Double or Nothing event. Apparently, it was nothing because nothing happened.
I said that on Twitter too, though. Yeah.
But Mark Henry showed up, apparently waved, and turned around. So, congrats to Mark Henry. He's joining the Rampage show that's happening later this fall. And there's this meme going around with Randy Orton scaring off all the legends: Christian, Matt Hardy, Big Show, and now Mark Henry. Their last appearances were Randy Orton scaring them off to AEW. So,
I mean, look, first of all, you just sold Mark Henry. Mark Henry got a pretty decent pop for what it's worth. I'm curious to know more about the World's Strongest Man gimmick because they introduced him as the World's Strongest Man on the show.
He
believe
is.
his real name. I mean, that's probably that. He really was at one time the world's strongest man, I believe. Competed in different competitions. He also, I believe his real name is probably Mark Henry, so it's not like it's a gimmick issue. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of surprised, but I like that he's on commentary. We'll leave it at that. I like that he's on commentary. He's not in the ring. It's not completely like WCW where you had Macho Man, you had Bret Hart, you had Hulk Hogan, you had Vince, but it is getting there though. It is. I mean, but I think again, having a guy like Mark Henry, having a guy like The Big Show, you have him do some commentary. They could work with some of the younger talent. That's great. All for it. They don't need a wrestle. If you're gonna add a new show, why not add a guy like Mark Henry? He's getting into the media stuff. He has his own radio show. He's on Sirius XM. I think it's great.
Rob is asking, who is the AEW Bobby the Brain Heenan? No one.
They're still only a year or two old, my man.
No one.
I mean, you're not looking at anyone to be the next Bobby the Brain because that's impossible. But I mean, they have a good commentary team. Well, based on their careers, maybe not so much as it currently stands, but with Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross, yeah, I mean, you got some guys there. You're not looking for a Bobby the Brain Heenan when you have guys who are up at the level of Bobby the Brain Heenan when it comes to the commentary side of wrestling. But I think it'll be good. JR put him over strong, a guy he's known for years and whatnot. I think it'll be good. Do not poo-poo my man, Mark Henry. I think,
he's scared. No. He's scared of Randy Orton.
He was saving a beatdown from happening.
He's also saving on McMahon money. So
that's a whole nother thing. We're gonna get into a minute. And these Legends contracts and the Hall of Fame contracts, I'm very confused.
They're done. Out.
I guess.
All right. When we return, we're finally gonna talk about the reasoning behind, because we spent a lot of time this entire episode.
And we're gonna talk about SummerSlam. We need to. I got some stuff.
All right, right here and more on Beyond the Ropes. We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3 Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 145 of Beyond the Ropes. Of course, I'm your host, Ethan Jordan, alongside the analyst, James Williams, and of course, producer, Rob Flores. Quickly, AEW had Double or Nothing last week. From what I saw, nothing huge. I mean, they had their stadium stampede.
What do you mean huge? They have the world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
Yes, he's huge.
Yes.
What, 350 pounds at least? He's huge. I think Miro threw a snake across the stage or something. Sting wrestled. Apparently, he shocked the world. I saw the clip from the clips I saw. I'm like, don't need to see it, but all right. If everyone else liked it, cool. Jericho apparently had a cinematic fight with the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle and all that stuff. And they got like the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes. Let's talk about it for just a quick second.
Second, because we got to
very interesting. I know we have a lot of stuff to kind of get to here real quick, but I found it very interesting. I don't know who the other gentleman was, probably someone on the coaching staff, but Urban Meyer, the former Ohio State coach, Utah coach, whatever in the college football, and was recently brought on as the head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, which Khan is it? Tony Khan, Nick Khan? What Khan is it?
Tony. The other Tony Khan.
Tony Khan is the co-owner or whatever for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's the connection there. They probably did the cinematic fight at the stadium. But yeah, they happened to just stroll by Urban Meyer's office. You could put that on the bingo card of things you never thought you would see in a wrestling event. I guess after a while it makes sense. But Urban Meyer and he's giving his computer to Jericho to use as a weapon. It's good stuff, more than I would have expected even if you would have told me Urban Meyer was going to be on the show.
Sting wrestled a couple of schlubs, couple of nobodies in Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, teaming with Darby Allin. So, I mean, they were fine. Jungle Boy won the Battle Royal. Leo Rush made an appearance.
That's right.
Within the first 10 minutes, so whatever. So I gotta listen to Jim Cornette's reviews on all these things. So, because I need a good laugh, Anyways, but their go home show, I assumed it was a first Friday show. How'd they do?
Yeah. It wasn't very good. It's not anything they're going to write home about, actually. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, let's put it this way. With the NBA playoffs and everything going on, the TV schedule's changing around. They moved to Friday nights for this go-home show of AEW, and it only does a 526,000.
Wow.
Which
Okay.
is
So
quite a big, which is probably the lowest. I think just their lowest of all time, probably. They've only been doing it for a year or two, but they've been averaging, I think we've even said over the last couple of weeks in the 700,000, 600,000. So a big dip here. Maybe people couldn't find the channel. Maybe people are just busy on Fridays now that things are opening back up. But, you know.
Well,
go ahead.
the number one show on Fridays is Friday Night SmackDown. And of course,
That's
you
right.
have the drip god himself, Seth Rollins there. You got the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Of course, you're going to watch SmackDown over whatever rubbish AEW's producing. So
to be fair, so good point there, and I think it's also worth mentioning. I know we got some other stuff to get to, but isn't this new AEW show supposed to come on, and isn't it supposed to be on Fridays? Aren't they supposed to be trying to compete with the SmackDown? If we mentioned the ratings last week as well, we usually don't mention SmackDown ratings, but the SmackDown rating was higher than Raw, than NXT last week.
it was almost 3 million.
I don't think it was 3 million.
It was
or
almost.
It might have been. It was. I think at least like. It was
over
I want to say it was
2.5.
high 1.8 million, if anything.
You think? Was it?
I think.
don't know. Maybe. I know it was high. I know
it was high. It was the highest show for WWE that week, and probably for quite some time. Obviously, them being on Fox and all the money involved in that. And then, yes, you got your guys, Drip God, Seth Rollins, the Tribal Chief, Ethan's Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman.
Say it with me, James. Roman Reigns is my tribal chief.
Roman Reigns is Ethan's Tribal Chief.
Okay. Quickly, NXT. This weekend, it's going to be, as this airs this weekend, it will be NXT TakeOver in Your House 2021. We're going to give predictions on social medias. We're not up to date completely on NXT, and I know that a lot of these matches were made. I will mention, say it with me one more time, James. Come on.
All right. One time. Just one time. Here we go. LA
Night.
There you
go. We go. All right.
You go.
He's going to be in action against Cameron Grimes at TakeOver.
Right.
So, as predicted. So we'll see how that goes.
That would probably be the match I'd be looking forward to.
Let's talk about the big news of how Vince McMahon is getting ready to sell WWE. Come on, let's.
Ooh, okay.
Let's just throw it out there.
You gotta give me a second to brace
myself. Okay, so hold on. I'll set it up. I'll set it up a little better. Last year, WWE hired a gentleman by the name of Nick Khan, who ironically had the same last name as the AEW owner.
No relation.
No relation, as far as we know.
Yeah.
I know there's been some social media jokes like, oh, they like long lost cousins and Nick Khan's helping Tony Khan ruin WWE from the inside or whatever.
Yeah.
No relation. He was brought in to make some changes from the business structure side of things.
He's making changes.
We saw last year, even before he showed up, they fired their presidents, the co-presidents, I think, that were running the show.
Who had been there for a while.
They were in the process of moving buildings. They again released a number of office employees, and certain departments shut down. I think that was all even before he showed up. But I think they brought him in to kind of help elevate WWE. So obviously, since he's arrived, there have obviously been more releases, notably, wrestlers, superstars, as we mentioned. Yeah. There's even rumored that maybe NXT UK might be next to be hit.
So crazy.
We've had main roster releases. We've had some NXT releases. And then we've also had, last week we had digital releases from the digital team. And, a number of employees have lost their job, unfortunately. I believe even WWE had even started like a a management company, like a because right after the whole Twitch situation at the end of last year,
Right. Right.
I think WWE was going to start their own management company. He shut that down quietly
Mhm.
earlier this year. And he's even had the mindset of working with other companies, which wasn't something that was
Yeah.
even close to happening a couple of years ago. He was into the mindset of working with other companies. There had been rumors that they have been in talks with companies like MLW, and then most recently New Japan Pro Wrestling,
Mhm.
to work out some deals. So the business strategy has changed. He has had, I guess, more leverage within the company, and is rumored to be behind a number of these changes, including the releases, because it would explain why. I mean, a Vince McMahon project like Braun Strowman would get released, other than he's making a bunch of money. But yeah, so there it is, long rumored by a number of people that they're getting ready to sell. The idea is they're making the most profit that they than ever before. They've recently obviously have huge billion-dollar TV deals with Fox and NBC Universal.
Mhm.
They just sold the United States streaming rights to Peacock for 5 years in another billion-dollar deal. Obviously, they have their Saudi Arabian deal. I don't know if that's still intact or not, but
I would
they
imagine
had
so.
that deal, which is millions of dollars. And of course, with all the releases and everything, all the changes and cuts they're making more money than ever. This is what businesses traditionally, this is what businesses do to prep and make the company look as good as possible so you can sell it at a higher price. Vince McMahon has always stated if the price is right, he would sell. Vince McMahon is 76, 77 years old. He, truthfully, he's not going to be running the company much longer, whether he retires or, worst case scenario. So Triple H, I doubt Triple H and Stephanie really want to be running this company.
I don't.
I feel like before you say something,
I mean, I feel like they are already.
I feel
Well,
like
not
they're more from a creative standpoint and maybe even a corporate standpoint to some extent, but I don't
yeah.
think they want to be the ones actually running the company. Plus, Vince could always sell a company, make billions of dollars. They got their money. I mean, I think the McMahon family will still be associated with WWE. Triple H could still be running creative as everyone wants, but they just don't have the hassle of actually being responsible for the overall corporate landscape of the company.
Right. Did you have more? Sorry.
No, go ahead. I think I got
It's
most of it out. So
it's just like you've been in they've been in the business for so long. The Vince bought it from his father. Who's to say maybe there's not something there where Triple H and Stephanie can maybe do the same. I just it's just crazy to think that it may come to this. And honestly, I think Triple H loves the business. Stephanie does too, obviously, having it be her whole life, more or less. I think they'll still be involved. Yeah, I think if anything, yeah, Triple H likes and just I guess really just using Triple H as an example, loves the creative and everything that comes with it. But I think too, it would probably take away if they are like stuck doing all the main management stuff from what Triple H loves to do. So I can understand that point. I just think I can easily see where the McMahons maybe still have 51%.
here's I mean that's a possibility.
I think that has to be the move.
To add to it, I mean, as you mentioned, Vince has been doing this for 40 plus years.
Yeah.
And he's kind of been the ultimate decision maker on everything, basically. Up until recently, obviously, I think, with Nick Khan and still everything. But I feel like he's lived and breathed WWE, literally. I mean, we talk about he doesn't sleep. That's been said for years. He doesn't like literally everything he does is WWE. I don't think Triple H and Stephanie want to be exactly 7 days, 24/7 working around this company.
Right.
Yes, they still obviously. I think they love it. Obviously, they still want to be involved. I think Triple H has built a team within NXT, which is why I think there's probably a lot of NXT people haven't been released, as far as I know. At least kind of the from the creative department and the ones working closely with them.
Well, I mean, those are all his boys too.
That too, yeah. But I think there's a strategy here where yes, I think Triple H, Stephanie, and Shane. I don't know. I mean, I know Shane's. I don't think he's directly involved with the company, but I know he still works there. I guess.
Right.
They can still run the TV aspects and the creative aspects of this program. They just don't need to be the ones making those corporate decisions, as we mentioned. And maybe you're right. Maybe they do just keep 40 or 51% of the company. So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not too familiar with the situation. Dana White was the owner of the UFC, right? And he sold it, didn't he?
Correct. And I don't know if he was the original owner, but I believe again, he had some sort of say. I think he did have a big share in it. But I guess to what you're saying and where I guess you're going, you don't mind me kind of carrying the ball just a little bit with it. Yeah, they did sell UFC to some other people. I don't know who it is, but they still did kind of leave Dana White as the figurehead, the one making those decisions in the matches, and people were a little concerned. But at the same time, it's almost as if they really haven't missed a beat. I don't know if I would say they've gotten better because of it, but yeah, I think Dana White still kind of being the figurehead, being involved, it's almost as if not a whole lot has changed, at least from what I can see. Not as a diehard fan or anything. Maybe Vince and them can do the same thing.
That's what I was thinking from that standpoint. They sell the company. The McMahons make a bunch of money, so they always have that money. And then, Triple H and Stephanie and Shane will still have. They could still be the figureheads of the company without actually having, to put in that money, put in that investment, I guess. And, WWE is never going to be as hot as it is now, despite, I know ratings are down, but the TV deals and the amount of money they've been making, it's never going to be greater than what it is today. It can only go downhill. There's not much they can do, Triple H and Stephanie can do in the future to raise the stakes higher than I think that's, they're at right now.
I think the thing for me, and we're going to try and get to SmackDown here for a little bit in a second, and I think this could obviously be a longer discussion, maybe even next week. But what the heck is Vince McMahon going to do if he's not doing WWE related stuff? Again, he's lived, breathed, and everything else with WWE. And do what? That man's going to drive himself crazy. Him and Linda, I don't think they have yet, are going to get a divorce because they're going to actually see each other for more than 2 or 3 hours at a day.
Well, hold on. Well, maybe Vince is still going to be involved in the company again until he's done. Maybe. Until he decides he doesn't want to do it or he's done. And like I said, he can still be the figurehead until he's gone, and then Triple H and Stephanie will take over and still be the figureheads. They just don't own the company anymore. That's what it is.
We'll see, and we can talk more about it. Let's try and end on a little bit of a maybe more positive note. There is a chance SummerSlam can come to LA.
SummerSlam.
Woo! But what did you hear? Because you kind of threw Vegas out there. What did you see?
Well, first off, it's been confirmed. It's happening August 21st, which is a Saturday. That's big news. This is a big deal.
Who confirmed that?
Huh? I'm sorry?
Who confirmed that?
WWE on their commercials. They confirmed it.
Okay. All right.
They did not announce where they're having it, but it is a Saturday. I believe it is also with the boxing fight that's happening in Vegas that same night. So it may not be Vegas.
So here's the venues being considered.
Mhm.
The Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, which is where the Dolphins play. And again, so what you'll notice here are these are all going to be stadiums
I'm ready for
that
it.
are more or less NFL venues. So the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, where the Dolphins play, SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, where the Rams and the Chargers play. And then you got
Inglewood.
NRG Stadium in Houston, which is where the Texans play, and Allegiant Stadium in Vegas, where the Raiders play, and then MetLife Stadium, where in New York, where the Jets and the Giants play, and Nashville, which is Nissan Stadium, where the Titans play. There was actually more stadiums there than I thought. But SummerSlam has traditionally been held in NBA arenas, venues. So this is going to be a big step up. Usually they do this for a WrestleMania, whatnot. I think it's going to come down to LA and Vegas. I'm hoping for LA. I can make the case for Vegas. Tell me what comment you have, and I can make the case on why Vegas appears to be the favorite. Even though you said something interesting new to me right now.
The surrounding cities, because they are doing a 25 city tour.
Yes.
I believe Sunday is Denver, Colorado. Monday would be, I believe, San Diego.
So
and Friday would be Phoenix. I'm not exactly sure. Those were the places, I believe, around that area. And there's only really two places they can be, and that's Vegas or LA. So
right.
I'm going to fly all the way to Miami. So
the WWE show before Phoenix, I think, is kind of what I originally maybe thought. Maybe that's changed. SummerSlam in Phoenix. Before the show before SummerSlam in Phoenix, a show after SummerSlam in Denver. It would appear Vegas is obviously maybe slapped somewhere in the middle and maybe a better option. I want to get in SoFi Stadium for a wrestling event soon. I guess it's not like it wouldn't even be like a Monday Night Raw, because they would just probably do staples. And WrestleMania is not till 2023 for LA. When
we lost WrestleMania this year. Give us SummerSlam. Yeah. We're going, right, James? Right? We're going.
I plan on being there if it's going to be here. But we'll see. I don't know.
I'll go to Vegas. Let's go to Vegas.
Heck, I'm tempted for that too. I mean,
why not?
I want to go to the news. Both of those are new stadiums. The one in Vegas, the one in LA, they're both more or less. I don't want to say they're exactly the same, but they were built at the same time, more or less, and everything else.
Break it in.
Yeah, you got to get a wrestling event there soon. I'm curious to see what a SummerSlam will do. They're going to build a weekend around it. Obviously, if they're going to do it on a Saturday, that's an interesting step. They probably haven't done a Saturday show, a big show. Maybe when Saturday main event was the biggest thing they had going on. We'll see. We'll see.
So I think next week, I mean, you and I talked about it, unless something else happens, which is a great possibility. Yeah, we don't know. We'll talk more about potentially the pros and cons of the potential. I don't know. This could be a complete rumor, and everyone's just going crazy. We'll talk the pros and cons of potential WWE being sold
and take over
and more on Beyond the Ropes. But until next time, this episode, I mean, has it really been too sweet? It hasn't been too sweet. It's been. I'll throw it up, but you can't really say a whole lot.
I'll mention Adam Cole.